You want another pack?
Did you bring your water? You were present with you now? Is that your boy? That's my boy. No, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. You know where he is? My mom, I enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I know, she's good. You should have told her to come. I
Yeah, the other picture when we spoke, that's your turn, when you was speaking, and they were like part of the crowd.
How sweet it is.
It's on. Alright. See how famous you are? John? Yeah, no, he's co-hosting. He gets on these shows right now. There he is, man. There he is.
Let me take your picture. Let me take his picture. You want me to take celebrity's picture?
Right here.
Yeah, we need to take his picture. Okay, ready? Smile. Come on. Look here. Smile.
All right, one more for a real camera. Hold on.
Yes.
You gotta have 1,000 pictures of me right now.
I know how to take
Well, real camera.
But I will say,
Welcome Mayor Sylvester Turner. He's with us, his very own mayor, who has been uniting Democrats, Republicans, business leaders, unions, community groups, and thousands Estonians to improve our roads, make our neighborhoods safe, support our public schools, and give our working people a better chance to get ahead. There is no doubting the fact that Sylvester Turner has historically served admirably in his role as people's champion. And his work in bringing more doctors in the African American and Hispanic neighborhoods is a remarkable work he has done in the past. And I believe I belong to healthcare. When I see the work done by some elected people in that arena, it admires me all the time. And that was State Rep Sylvester Turner, who changed the 32 million funding for behavioral health. Where's Dr. Asim sitting right back there? From 32 million to 200 million. And that's exactly what we eliminated 160 million budget shortfall in record time. Led the city's remarkable rebound from Hurricane Harvey. Champion in historic pension reforms. Cheered on 2017 World Series winning Houston Astros. Hosted a successful Super Bowl. I mean, Mayor, we need 2 hours just to talk about your achievements, and I always ask him, are you that lucky, or you just have your eyes on every single thing at one time? And you know what? This is a lot, Mayor, to learn from you, and especially the people who lose their election on the first attempt. Furthermore, the city's investment on the renewable energy and led to the winning bid on the host for the World Petroleum Congress in 2020. And I'm not going to say the other thing he's dealing with the 2020. I'll let you say that. Well, after the completion of his first year, I still remember when Houston Chronicle wrote a whole big article, but I will read the last line. Overall, our new mayor has a good first year in office. And guess what? This is the first time ever some newspaper wrote in the first year completion of any mayor. Receiving, these kinds of remarks from media who analyze things a little differently, as we all know, it's remarkable, Mayor, and there is a lot of potential moving forward. Your leadership, your team building capacity, your ideas, most importantly, and the persistence and assertive attitude to pursue those ideas. All these things make Mayor Turner the best assets City of Houston has today. For the greater good of Houston, we all need to put our efforts together to make sure that we secure the second term for the Mayor Turner. And guess what? In politics, with his remarkable history of just 2+ years, he should be unopposed. But this is not how work in the politics, and this is not how simple things are in politics. So today's gathering is our, we're looking into the next term, and we're going to make this solid foundation, and this is just the first attempt, Mayor, and we're not going to stop here today. Well, I appreciate all of you attending today, opening your checkbooks, wallets, contributing for the cause, and if you all, I will encourage you, because I'm trying to do too much into some short time. The one who knows, majority of you know the work Mayor has done, the one who doesn't, because some of you are not even from the city, please, I encourage you to study about Mayor Turner. And you will see that maybe towards the end of his second term, we may have to ask the city to amend that again. So, I would like to recognize, first of all, Rubina Javed, my wife, who always encouraged me to support progressive leaders, regardless from which part of the country. And she herself is the admirer of Mayor Turner, and she's here to support you, Mayor. And my brother Shahid Javed, who is always the driving force behind me. And thank you, Shahid. And I have my co-hosts here, MJ Khan Saab sitting next to you. And we all, please clap for MJ Khan Saab. He served on City Council and maxed out. And now he's the Islamic Society of Greater Houston's president. And, great history, several, I would say 30+ years serving in Houston. Kansab, thank you very much for co-hosting, and your better half, Dr. Atiya, is sitting next, and she's always supportive, and thank you very much, Dr. Atiya, for showing today. This table, and Nomi, thank you very much. Like we were talking in the private reception with the mayor, that Nomi's house is the designated place for all the Democrats, senators, and congressmen to come. So he himself does a lot, and every time I make a phone call, he always says yes, and thank you, Nomi, for showing up today. And say no to you. Well, Mustafa Tamiz is my co-host, and he's sitting right here, on the table next to Rubina. Mustafa is a TV celebrity, you probably heard him, and the history of working with the Democrat Party, and thank you, Mustafa, for the contribution today and even participating. Tahir Bhatti Saab is sitting here right back there. Tahir Bhatti is another co-host we have. He himself is a successful businessman, entrepreneur, and always say yes to all the causes whenever we ask him to contribute for the great cause. Thank you, Tahir Saab. I have a few other friends who contributed to Max, and Dr. Kadir is one, and Dr. Kadir is often as a representative, and he was General Secretary. Now he's on the Board of Trustees. I believe he's the Chair of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Saab, history of work in Houston. I admire your leadership, and thank you for coming, and most importantly, thank you for bringing your beautiful wife here. And I know she normally don't say yes to everywhere to go, and this is a big deal, she's here today. Well, Thomas McAlveen is a co-host, and he is busy in voting for all the crazy deals are going on. And I was there yesterday with him, and I know that how many times we were eating in the dining room, and he had to run twice to vote. So this is how, like you want to make sure that your vote is counted, and he has to miss it. When he accepted it, we were shooting for Saturday. Then once he said, yes, I will contribute and I'll be the co-host, and I told him it's not on Saturday. So, well, anyway, we have so many other friends here which I will come back and recognize, but I would like to bring MJ Concept to put some remarks as a co-host. Concept, can you come here? And I want to start with your remarks, and then I will ask Mustafa Tamiz to his remarks after that, and I would ask Nomi, and I know he's going to say no, sit over there, because he told me that we need to listen to Mayor. But let's say I'm going to make that name one more time.
Thank you, Tahir. It's really a great honor and pleasure for all of us. Mayor, thank you for taking your time in your busy schedule. I just found out yesterday that you put together the new budget for the city. And being in the city council, when I looked at the numbers, you must be a magician, the way you put together that budget. Congratulations on putting a great budget for the city. Mayor, allow me to recognize some people who are here. One of your HPD star, Brother Aziz, can you please stand and be recognized, Mayor? My dear friend Ashraf al-Islam is here. He's one of the largest engineering companies in history. My friend Mike Kadumi and his son Anan and his whole family is here. Please, thank you so much for being here. And the media people, where you just took the picture of one of the hardest working media person in town, and Mr. Gilani and Tariq Khan is here also, so thank you all for being here. The important thing you all should know that Houston is on the move. This year, Mayor, the first time the Islamic Society of North America, the premier, largest and the umbrella organization of all the Muslims in North America, they are having their convention in Houston this year. And of course, you all know that Mayor always is available, accessible. He will be there for the Ramadan Iftar, Mayor's Iftar it's called. It's on the 28th of May, so make sure that you all mark your calendar, be there. You will probably not get the registration, but if you let Tahir know, he can get you in there. We also have the end of the Ramadan Eid prayer, where Mayor will be with you all. That's the event where we have 30,000 Houstonian Muslims coming together to pray. So that's great. But I wanted to just share with you all that really what goes on in Washington is really not how the government works. If you want to see how the government works, look at the municipality. And Houston is the most and the best and the shining example of how well you work in the city where it has all the diversity, not just the diversity of culture and race and language and color, which is our strength, but also diversity of ideas. We have people who are on the extreme right of the political spectrum or extreme left of the political spectrum, and everybody in between. And it is a credit to the city's leadership to pull all of us together. And you all saw what happened during Harvey. That with the leadership of Mayor Turner, every Houstonian was there to help each other out. That is remarkable. Houston has done many times during Rita and Katrina and all that. But Harvey, yes, it was a natural disaster, but it was really one of the best moments for the citizens of Houston. And that credit goes to the leadership. We are so fortunate that we have the leadership in the city, our mayor, who not only recognize the strength and the diversity, but celebrates it. It never uses the word, let's tolerate each other. He always says, let's celebrate each other. And that's why you see anytime there is something going on in any community, he's always there. And God is blessing Houston greatly. Astros were last time, Rockets are on the move. And you never know what is in the store. Mayor will share with you. There is our convention visitor bureau is very busy. We are attracting a lot of new businesses in town, the convention in town. So anyone of you who wants to look for the future and secure the future of your kids and your grandkids, invest in Houston. That is the place to be, and that's for people from all around the country are looking at Houston as a place to be for investment, for living, for culture, for diversity, for you name it. And I think that we are so blessed to be Houstonians, and the credit goes to over there. Mayor, thank you so much, and we are always
I'll ask Mustafa if you start making the move here, but I'd like to introduce a few more people, which I'm going to keep on coming back. Lucia Bates, our judge-elect, can you stand up and let us all clap? Remarkable victory, and this is our next JP. Thank you for coming, and we are celebrating this victory. I have Lena Dalgo, sitting good friend of mine, and if some of you did not meet, can you stand up? Yeah, if you did not shake hand with her yet, you do it today before you leave. And she is running for county judge, and after November, she is going to be very hard to find. So you better make your relationship today. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on coming back, but I'll have Mustafa to make his remarks, and I'll move from there. Thank you.
So just real quickly, I just wanted to thank the Javed family. Huh? Yeah. I actually just wanted to thank the Javed family for their continued public service. I think that sometimes people run for political office and they run whether they win or lose. You only see them on the campaign trail. You just don't see them afterwards. But they've really stuck around, and they're out there not just on the East End, but they're in Beaumont, they're in Houston, and they're always involved. And they're the first one to volunteer, they're the first one to serve. And so I want to join me in thanking them. Because I know you usually see him on stage talking, but it's always the rest of them that are sitting across doing the heavy lifting. So. And Mayor, thank you for all that you do in public service. We have our great state representative sitting here who's done a great job with us in public service. We have somebody who leads one of the largest mental health agencies in public service. We have our Ajay Durrani who's on the DNC doing public service. We have so many other people that are involved in the city. We have our lieutenant here in HPD. And so my hat's off to all the people that every day get up in the morning, kiss their families goodbye, and go out and serve the rest of us. So thank you for all that, and thank you, Mayor, for being here today.
Well, Nomi, ready? Well, we have another leader here, Shanti Thury. Can you please stand up? She's running for state rep. And please meet with her. And Chris Spellman is sitting back somewhere. Chris, can you stand up? Chris ran for Railroad Commission, has done. You know what? It's like Mustafa just said. It's not that I ran the election. I'm saying that it's a big deal to run. When you put all the things on the side and just focus yourself, we admire your leadership. We admire your fight. Thank you very much for coming today. And please sit down. We don't Mayor, you are, when I lost my election, okay, so everybody is asking right after the second day. Not even, they don't even wait for, so what's next? Okay. Let's say, well anyway, so when I look at you, even though you had a straight rep for years and years and years and years, and we, Ballotopedia doesn't even have that many slots as many times you got elected here. But so you ran for mayor, okay, the first time, and then you came into the runoff. And then you lost in the runoff. Then you ran for the mayor the second time, you did not even get to the runoff. How the heck you think of running again? You know, like that's what is the measure. You know what? This is exactly what is the learning point for all of us. It may be a third time it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I realized. And the third time you are facing, God knows, 36 people. You know, and then, so when one like me, the student of running the election, see people like you, you know, after you lose, you come back by looking at the history of leaders like you. And we admire you for that. And I'm going to have Nomi at this time to come here and say something. Nomi seems like he did not prepare anything, but Nomi, you are an attorney. For God's sake, you can make a story out of a word.
Mr. Mayor, elected officials, community leaders, business leaders, distinguished guests. Our country right now is in turmoil, to say the least. As I look around this room, at the assembly of leaders here, African Americans, Muslim Americans, Hispanic Americans, it makes me proud because this is what America is. Houston is the epitome of how this country should be and work together, not the stuff that we're seeing in Washington on a daily basis. And the success of this city is not an accident. The success of the city, the diversity of the city, the leadership of the city goes to the leadership. And we are blessed that for the last 20 years we have had excellent leaders that the citizens of this city have elected. And one of the best mayors that I have seen, and one of the best elected officials, because as you know, Mayor Turner has a long history of public service. Someone who served the citizens of the state of Texas for decades before we were lucky enough to grab him and elect him mayor. The reason we are so successful and the reason we will continue to be the light, the shining city on the hill, is because of people like Mayor Turner. So would you please join me in congratulating Mayor Turner for the excellent job he's done, bringing this city together, and his continuing leadership efforts.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Where's Jefferson? But Jeff, did you go with the speed you asked?
You're good, sir.
All right, man. Well, anyway, let me recognize some more people who put the work behind. Where is Shuja? He's still outside probably charging somebody's car. Okay, well, he's back there. Shuja was I would say, the chief organizer of today's event. Shuja, you want to come shake hands with the mayor? I'm
going to shake right now.
Yeah, you please you do that. And Mariam made God knows how many calls to everyone to remind and contribute. And Faiz is here still. Yeah, he didn't shoot. There you go, Faiz. Good work. Jorge Maldonado. These are the mayor. These are our team. We do all these events. And thank you for all the elected precinct judges, precinct chairs coming here. Can you please, if you want to stand up, just raise your hand at least. I know some of you don't want to. So thank you. And my dear friend, Tom Rodriguez, all these signed jobs for Congress, you see the highest up there, God knows how he did that. This is done by Tom, sorry, Mark. Mark, can you please, I'll just call, mix it. Mark, can you please, yeah. And we have Paul, we have, can you stand up? Thank you very much. Mayor, I would like to have you, the energy you keep up in the office. And I want you to give him the same energy what he's keeping in the secret. Please give him a stand up, round of applause, and welcome him to the podium.
Look, let me just start off by thanking all of you. I certainly want to thank the Japid family and the one who writes the checks. But let me thank all of you for your presence here today. Every single one of you here, thank you so very, very much. And I want to echo very quickly what Mustafa said. You know, running for office and not necessarily winning, but I don't think you ever lose when you run, quite frankly, and staying very active. And I was one that ran for mayor 3 times, you know, and didn't just run one time for mayor. I ran for mayor three times. And the second time I ran, in large part I fell short because of Mustafa. That guy right there. I want you to know he brought it into my mayoral aspirations. When I ran in 2003, I remember him so well. You know, but he ran an outstanding campaign for Bill White at the time, and I fell short. And but you stay in the game. And quite frankly, I tell everyone, if you do things for the right reasons, they don't end when the campaign is over. And so you just keep doing what's in your heart to do, and you keep doing things the very best you can, and life has a way of bringing things around. And so quite frankly, I tell people, not winning in '91, not winning in 2003, I accept the outcome, and I accept God's will, because He certainly knew more than what I knew. And quite frankly, for me, this just feels like the right time for me. And so I accept that. I want to thank you. There are so many friends in this room, so many, and so many supporters that are in this room, and public servants, and certainly the lieutenants of HPD. I certainly want to thank you and your service, because there are people in this room, city employees and others, that help me to do my job and to do it well. I tell everybody all the time, you know, Hurricane Harvey and what happened with Hurricane Harvey, if things happened, things did happen in a positive way, it wasn't so much because of me. I just had some exceptional people who did an exceptional job, they did their job exceptionally well, and it made my job a lot easier. I see Karen Pipeman here, the chairperson of Metro. Please give it to Karen Pipeman. And people like Karen Pipeman, for example, they were in the war room with me during Hurricane Harvey on a daily basis. And so the city came together. I tell people all the time, if you just focus on the water that fell on the city of Houston and don't focus on what was happening during and after the storm, you kind of miss the story. People came together like never before. And quite frankly, Hurricane Harvey did what politicians are unable to do. Hurricane Harvey brought us all together. And so people were not asking whether you were a Democrat or Republican. They weren't asking whether you were documented or undocumented, or what your language or religion. If you found yourself in need, there was some neighbor, some good Samaritan that came to your aid. And now we have to find a way to hold on to that spirit and continue to build on that spirit. I certainly want to thank MJ Crowne, the service of City Council, and he continues to serve. So thank you, and thank you, doctors. Thank you, Ryan. Certainly appreciate your support over the years. And quite frankly, I'm standing on the shoulders of leaders like MJ Crowne. Let me just say, this is a remarkable city. And I don't think I have to tell you, I have the privilege of being the mayor of an amazing city. And when you look at the diversity that exists in this city, and I have the privilege, Judge, of seeing that diversity every single day. And I travel this city quite a bit, every single day. This is a 7-day week. In the theory, this job is 7 days a week. I tell people the city never closes. And I have the privilege of traveling throughout the city from one community to the next. And literally in this city, I tell people on any given day in this city, you can travel the globe in this city. You don't have to get on a plane and fly outside of the country. You literally can stay in this city and you can travel the globe on any given day in this city. And I've, on many, many days since I've been mayor, I may have started off at an event in the Hispanic community, and the next thing I know, I found myself in the Vietnamese community, and then I'm at an African American event, and then I'm leading there, and I'm going to maybe some woman's event, and I'm leading there, and I'm at a Pakistani event, and before it's all over, I may be at an Indian event. And it goes on and on. I have eaten things I didn't know what I was eating. But literally, on any given day, you can travel the globe in this city. And that's the beauty of this city. And that diversity happens to be our strength, but we also have to continue to work every single day to turn that diversity into a situation where we are very much inclusive. Because you can be diverse, separate, segregated, and apart. The question is, can we be diverse and be inclusive? And so, Naomi, let me thank you for your comments. I appreciate that. You know, a lot of amazing things have happened over the last two and a half years. But there are a lot of amazing things that still can happen in our city. And every day when I see our children of all walks of life, I see so much potential in our city. And there's so much more that can be accomplished. We got great leaders in this city. We just have to be bold, and we have to be visionary leaders. And we really have to kind of set the tone and the pace. And when we work together, we're so much stronger. And that's why, we're working very hard. And I'm thankful for people like Tahir and others, because wouldn't it be nice to have the Democratic National Convention? To have the Democratic National Convention in this city in 2020. The Democratic National Convention has been in this city since 1928. It's been a long time since the Democratic National Convention has been in this city. We're going to go for it. And there are a number of people in this room that are working already to make it happen. I want to thank Tahir for just taking it up on himself, because he's talked to a number of people already. Mustafa's been out there working already. MJ have been working on it, talking to a number of leaders across the country. Karen Patman has been working on it. In fact, I spoke to Speaker Nancy Pelosi about it at your event, at your home, at a luncheon, and she allowed me to stand up and speak publicly about what I had said to her privately about hosting the Democratic National Convention. And let me just say, it's not just about party affiliation for me. It's about showcasing our city. Okay? It's beyond the party politics for me. You know, we lost out to Amazon, and that was not a good feeling. And when you don't make the top 20 of cities in the country, that was not a good feeling. And that's why many of us have been working extra overtime in trying to catch up on startups, technology, and innovation. And that's why we've been pushing Houston Exponential, taking the Houston Technology Center, turning Houston Exponential. That's why we've been pushing Sears, the old Sears building on Main, becoming an innovation hub. That's why we're pushing TMC3, things that are happening at the medical center. And that's why I sat down more than a few weeks ago and talked to Microsoft, who was a competitor of Amazon, and essentially saying to them, you know, don't you want to look at a city like the city of Houston and promote yourself
by being here in the city in a major way. And so last week we had the press conference where they announced a national venture that has not taken place in any other city but the city of Houston. And so we're moving forward on that end. And now is how do you continue, how do you PR your city on a global level? To bring the Democratic National Convention to the city of Houston will help to showcase who we are. It will help to showcase our diversity. It will allow people to see that in our city, yes, we're a little bit country, but we're chic all at the same time. It will allow people to see that we have fine parks and museums, that we are more than about just, horses and cowboys. And to look at all that we know exists within our city. So if you have any contacts on the national scene, I hope you will utilize your connections to help to make that happen. And so let me thank you. Let me thank those who sponsored this event, who contributed. It did not dawn on me. Pat is standing at the back of my finance chair. It didn't dawn on me that I'm running again next year until a couple of weeks ago, to be honest with you. But my focus is not about re-election. What I said to the people, what I say to my executive team, is that when January came around, the people in the city of Houston, you all have given me a one-year term. And the goal, I told my team, is to do as much as we can in this 1 year. And to accomplish as much as we can in this 1 year. And if we do our job well in this 1 year, the people will give us a second year. And then the goal is to do as much as we can in that second year. And if we do our job well, they'll give us a third year. We have a 1 year term. And that's the way I look at my service as mayor of the city of Houston. It's not about a 4 year. I'm giving a 1 year term. And quite frankly, we have a limited period of time to do some incredible things. This just happens to be a city that I love. It is, after being mayor, it's going to be the last political office that I shall hold.
Washington needs you there.
Washington needs prayer. and a whole lot of it. But I will tell you, to be able to stand here and say this to you, it is very liberating. It is very liberating. Okay. Because the incentive is to do your job well. And not to put off tomorrow the things that we need to achieve today. I have had an incredible life as a public servant. To have been in the legislature for 25 years, to work with a Texas House and a Texas Senate and every statewide position when it was controlled by Democrats, and then to also have had the privilege of working in a Texas House and a Texas Senate and when every statewide position controlled by Republicans, and to be in leadership on both ends. It's been an incredible career. And then now to come and be mayor of a city in which I was born and reared, and a city in which my mom was a maid at the Rice Hotel and didn't graduate from high school, and one of her 9 kids now serves as the mayor of the city of Houston. I have the privilege of coming to an event like this, when people like yourselves are contributing to a campaign where I am the mayor of the city of Houston, and I am literally sitting at the table and talking to people who have connections and talking with other individuals all over the globe. And I am the guest this evening. And it's an honor and a privilege and a blessing that when I leave here this evening, to get in a vehicle with a mayor's detail from the city of Houston and return back to the same neighborhood in which I was born and reared, a low-income community in which I have come, and to be the mayor and go back to that same Acres Home neighborhood in which I was born and reared, in which I am literally less than 3 miles from the house in which I was born and reared, a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, with 9 kids and a mom and dad. It has been an incredible. So I've been blessed. And it all happened in this city. Come on. In this city. And so that's why we can do incredible things when we recognize that the diversity that exists in this city, where people can literally reach out and touch folk all over the world, and it's all existing in this city. It's incredible. Okay? So I have been fortunate and I'm very blessed. And I don't take anything for granted. Okay? You don't have to be here tonight, but you are. And it doesn't mean that everything I do is perfect, because it's not. Okay? And I would tell everybody, it's not an easy job, but it's a darn good job. Because you can see results in real time. And so let's continue to work together. Let's do it for your families, for your children. Let's create a city that can be a model for this country. Because quite frankly, MJ, the leadership in our country won't come from the top down. The leadership from our country will flow from the bottom up. It will flow from our city. And that's why as mayors and city council, we have to fight for the diversity. We have to fight for inclusion. We have to say there are certain things we're not going to tolerate or accept. And we do it from a point of excellence. And we do it from a point of recognizing that everybody in our city, that diversity needs to be reflected at the table of decision making. So when you look at my table, you ought to see Muslims, you ought to see Christians, you ought to see Jews, you ought to see Hispanics, you ought to see women, you ought to see people from the LGBTQ community, young, old, millennials in particular, because I invite them to the table first and foremost, because we have to design a city, not for those who have been. We have to design a city for those who have yet to come. With your help, we'll get it done. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor, for the beautiful remarks. And I would like to add, after the Mayor's, talking about 2020 convention to bring it here. So me and MJ made a trip to his office, and that's the first time about a month ago when Mayor, or maybe a little bit over a month ago, talked to me about it. And I asked him, do I make a move to talk to the leadership up there and some of the influential leadership locally here. And guess what? Whoever, I spoke to about 50 people, and out of 50, he already had reached to half of them. Nationally, locally, I talked to Karen, and you said he talked, and DNC chair, and DNC's, his chief of staff, and you name it. So then I looked at my text messages between me and Mayor. We probably had about 20, 30, 35. And what admires me, that when you go after things, you go very seriously. And that's all it's going to take, and trust me, we will have 2020 convention here. And yes, we have 8 cities that, competing. Most likely we in Atlanta are going to work hard, and the rest of them probably will not be able to do as much. And Atlanta does not have Mayor Turner. Eat and you guys can mingle up. There is no formalities. Anybody want to take a picture unless Jeff will pull Mayor out, you can do whatever you want to do. Thank you.